Let's rewind back and look at the obsession humans have had over apocalyptic prophecies. That's right, we're going to be taking a closer look at some of the biggest end-of-the-world scares and dive into some of the historical context involved in the obsession that humans cannot seem to get over. Before we jump into World's End, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on the nostalgic throwbacks of Ripley's Rewind. Okay, back to business. Let's start with Y2K. Some of you may remember this instance of prophetic apocalypse like it was yesterday, and others, like myself, may have just been an infant, or hell, not even alive yet. Y2K is the shorthand term for the year 2000, and the theory was driven around a series of computer bugs that threatened to shut down computer networks around the world, with some of these networks being highly sensitive, such as nuclear facilities and financial institutions. Programmers at the time were often constrained by a shortage of computer storage and would do whatever they could to save space when writing code. One example of this was referring to years as the last two digits, like 62 instead of 1962, for example. Once records became digitized, those dates were never adjusted, and the question arose whether the computers would know when we eventually reached the year 2000. Would the time odometer flip to 2000, or would the computer think the year is 1900? As more companies began to take precautions on the back end of their digital security, headlines began to come out discussing the steps companies were frantically taking. With each new, exaggerated apocalyptic claim and the idea of Y2K shutting down the world as we know it, everything began to snowball. Y2K was thankfully avoided thanks to companies and vocal individuals being proactive in taking the digital precautions needed to make the transition. Would financial markets have collapsed or energy and nuclear networks shut down if these precautions were not taken? We will never truly know. From Y2K to 2012, it didn't take the world long to move on to the next apocalypse. But this time, there was what some consider to be historical and archaeological precedent. Let's rewind back to the Mayans and their creation myth. The creation myth stated the gods formed the world when the Mayan calendar was at 0, which roughly translates to 3114 BCE, our time. The Mayans go on to describe our world as the fourth created by the gods, with the third world ending on its 13th Baktun, which was one metric by which the calendar was measured. Now, believe it or not, the Mayan calendar goes well beyond the 13th Baktun, continuing all the way into the 15th, and even they did not believe that the world would necessarily end on the 13th Baktun. It was a mix of misrepresenting the Mayan calendar alongside socioculture running wild with the fetishization of the world ending that led so many to buy into the cultural moment. From movies to docuseries on television, fear had been instilled in the public for years leading up to 2012. One notable aspect was that depending on where you got your information determined the way in which the world was theorized to end. Some believed that the alignment of the planets would cause a pole shift, leading to natural disasters that would destroy the planet. Others popularized the idea of a comet colliding with Earth and wiping out civilization as we know it. Some even theorized aliens would invade Earth and seize control of the planet by force. As you can see, the 2012 apocalypse was far less cohesive in comparison to Y2K, as people and conspirators couldn't agree on why or how the world would end, but rather looking to confirm a misrepresented theory that the Mayan calendar would come to an end. The human obsession over the end of the world is seemingly one of the unique aspects of our species. Although we may not know how, why, or when life as we know it will end, we are all but sure the life we know and love has an approaching expiration date. As long as there are movies, television shows, and the internet to conspire on the next apocalypse, there will almost certainly be a portion of our society that hops on the next cycle of end times. So, there you have it. From computer bugs to the Mayan calendar, humans have always obsessed over how and when the world will come to a crashing halt. Let me know in the comments below if you believed any of these apocalyptic prophecies, and if there are any upcoming end times you're keeping your wits about. Until next time, I'm Jordan Neese, and this is Ripley's Rewind.